there are two things that have held this state, this country back. Two things. You know, maybe I should say three things. Over-centralization of a lot of activities. And I think that over-centralization arose because of the military rule that started in 1966. The military by themselves are unitary and hierarchical. And for most of our lives, military rule has occurred. And even when, after they left, we've had military rulers, either people who are outright military rulers or people who were installed by military rulers. Obasanjo himself was a military ruler. Buhari was a military ruler. Shagari was put on by military rule. He was cooled by a military person. Yaradua was put in by military rule. Okay. It is only and Jonathan took over from Yaradua,
yes,
who was put on by the military, who was vice president. So even Jonathan himself, you could say, is an outgrowth of a military rule. Tinubu is an outgrowth of a military ruler, of a civilian ruler who came from a military rule. So it is, if you look at it, it will only be the successor of Tinubu, who will be 2 generations removed from military rule. So that echo still exists, and then the person who succeeds that person, the person. So until all of us who at some point were part of a military rule, until all of us die off, we will still be having this with immediate effect. A big man, you know, even the campaigns of some of the opposition parties now still portend this issue of big manism. When I get there, this is what I will do. In a democracy, there are limits to what you can do. I mean, you have to work with the Senate, you have to work with the House, you have to work with the other people. But I will do this, I will do that. You can't, there are limits to that. So over-centralization is one. But the greatest negative impact of over-centralization is in energy and in security. Okay? In electricity and in security. In energy, because the sources of energy and the requirements for energy are very local. Okay, the primary sources of energy and the need for energy are very local. If you not centralize all of that, and somebody in Abuja is determining the source that you will use in Ekiti, and he's letting you know how much of that you will use in Ekiti, that's not right. The sun is everywhere. That's solar, so everybody can use solar. But hydro is not everywhere. Oil is not everywhere. Gas is not everywhere. So coal is not everywhere. So where you have the primary sources of energy, each place, each region should be able to use their best primary source of energy to deliver the energy. Population is not the same everywhere. Population determines the amount of energy that you use. Industries are not the same. Institutions are not the same. All of those things are not the same. So we need to decentralize energy, and that is part of what Buhari's Electricity Constitutional Amendment Act and the Tinubu Electricity Act of 2023 and the various states that have formed their own power sector laws and formed their regulatory bureaus. That is what they have have done. The other issue is security, and that security is the police force. I lived abroad 33 years, and the concept of distributed policing is just normal. You are in the university campus, they have a university police. They wear uniform like any other police outside. They are able to arrest, they are able to handcuff you. They have a police car. You could step outside the campus police, you see local government police patrol roads. They're able to arrest you and handcuff you. You go along state roads, you see state police. You move to another state, you see Maryland State Police. You get Delaware State Police. You get Pennsylvania State Police. You know. On top of all of that, you hear about the FBI. When any issue that occurs, they say FBI. You know, you take a look at any incident that occurs in the U.S., for example. Immediately that occurs, you see a whole line of people. Yes. They say, let the mayor talk. They first say, let the county police talk. He will talk. Let the mayor talk. Let the state talk. Let the FBI talk. The governor will talk. They will say, oh, I spoke with the president today. You know, he's sending special forces to come and do. You know, everybody has his role. And there's nothing more that contributes to development than a feeling of security by citizens. Because if you don't feel secure, you ask yourself, why must I succeed? Why must I, if I buy all these things to my house, tomorrow somebody will just come and steal them all. Why must I succeed? If I want to travel from point A to point B and I can be kidnapped, it limits your ability to think. So security is extremely important. The amount of money we spend on security, the payback is enormous. Okay? First you employ people, but then people feel so secure that they are able to work with peace in their mind, work for long hours. So that is so the advantage of state police is immeasurable. There's a psychological advantage, and there are practical advantages of anything that ensures that local people contribute to their local needs, whether it's in energy or whether it's in security. Now, you mentioned the disadvantages. Many of the disadvantages that are being said are historical. The police in Nigeria has always been a constabulary of the colonials to put natives down. Okay? To put natives down. So that is still the fact in our minds. That it's a police force, not a police service. We should think of police as a service, not as a force. As people who will help you, not as a people who will arrest you and back on do my lorry. Okay? So we have to have that feeling of reorient our minds to police as a police service, not as a force. And that requires that first, because of the history that we have, we must ensure that they are looked at differently from where we've been thinking of them. First thing is that the minimum qualification requirement must be higher than before.
Okay.
That's number one. Must be higher than before. These people must be higher. Okay. than before. No illiteracy. Okay, that's one. And there can be different grades. They must be higher than before.
If you had to suggest, if you had to suggest, what would you?
I would suggest no lower than an equivalent of OND. Okay, no lower than an OND. Not school certificate. You must have done some certification beyond school certificate. No lower than OND. Okay. And they should be adequately paid. Okay. You see what they are paid now, and you ensure that the people who come know that they will be better paid. And it's not just pay, insurance, hazard allowance. They should not be put in barracks. One of the things that make people look down on police, they are barracks, they were put in barrack, and the barracks are poorly, okay. There must be people who live in our society, who live among us. So low minimum qualifications, reasonable pay, barrackless. Okay. The control of the police, there should be a state police service commission that should be independent. What's going on, they say that the police commissioner should be appointed by the state governor. I think I support that. But there should be a police commission, a state police commission that is fairly independent, that can look at things. And if a state police misbehaves, then we're not asking for a dismantling of the federal police system, Nigerian police system. So they should be able, just as abroad or in the US, if a state governor misbehaves, they send the FBI there to take over, So there must be clear limits for misuse of the police. So it is just the pay, and then there's concern, of course, that different states with different abilities to pay will make it uneven. I support a police equalization trust fund, that those states that have problems with money should be able to get assistance. And the final issue is that there must be a minimum number of a minimum number of citizens per police in each state. Not necessarily the UN figure. I think there's a UN figure of 400 citizens per policeman. Okay, that always depends on the threats and so on. But each state, some of the papers that I sent to you, you must have, I sent you a whole bunch of papers. I've been writing on police issues for almost 20 years. It's not. Those papers were 2000, same as electricity, on police, electricity. So this period, I'm very happy that I'm still alive when electricity has been decentralized, when police is being decentralized. Those two things I have always felt will propel this country forward to a lot of, in addition to other restructuring issues.
People of the Fountain.